Tonight, we journey to the still and sorrowful days of the Black Death, not to frighten, but to remember, not to disturb your peace, but to deepen it. There is always a flicker of humanity waiting to be heard. Surviving the Black Death was not a victory parade. It was a slow awakening into a world of silence, emptiness, and unbearable grief. You didn't walk out of the plague years stronger. You crawled out with your soul frayed, your hope bruised, and your hands empty. This is the quiet truth of what it meant to survive when the world ended. Imagine waking up from weeks of fever. Your body is weak but breathing, your mind dazed but aware. You survived, but your mother did not. Your brother is gone, your home is quiet, the neighbor's house is still. You step outside, not into life, but into loss. The world you knew had vanished, and you were left behind to remember every face, every voice, every ordinary morning that would never come again. The plague didn't just take people, it took the sound of life. The markets were silent, the bells stopped ringing, children's laughter disappeared. Streets once full of gossip and footsteps were now haunted by the squeaking of carts filled with bodies. And even when the bodies were gone, the silence stayed. You might think people would be thankful to see survivors, but that's not what happened. People avoided you. They whispered. Some believed you were cursed. Others thought you carried the disease in your breath. You weren't welcomed back. You were feared. You didn't feel like a hero. You felt like a shadow. Before the plague, the church was the center of life. Bells rang. Sermons offered comfort. Prayers promised protection. But during the plague, the priests died too. The churches closed. The answers stopped coming. You survived, but your faith did not. You began to wonder if heaven had turned its face away from earth. Every cough makes your heart race. Every fever chilled your soul. Every rumor of the plague returning made you hide indoors and weep quietly. The disease came in waves. It left, then returned, so you never truly felt safe again. You were not free. You were haunted. Why did you survive when your sister didn't? Why were you still breathing when so many others couldn't? You asked yourself these questions every day. You lit candles for them. You whispered their names. You wept when no one was watching. And no one truly understood. After the plague, everything had changed. Your Lord was gone. The harvest failed. Trade collapsed. The towns were full of widows and orphans. Rebuilding wasn't a celebration. It was a chore, a burden, a duty. And you had to do it without the people who once helped you build. There was no therapy, no writing it out, no one to say it's okay to grieve. You had to carry your pain quietly, with dignity, with silence. You told stories around the fire, but you never told the full truth. Because the full truth still made your hands tremble. And still, you planted, you sang, you fell in love again. Not because you forgot, but because you remembered and chose to live anyway. That's what made survivors both tragic and quietly heroic. To survive the Black Death wasn't a blessing. It was a soft kind of suffering, long, lonely, and deeply human. But it was also the beginning of something new. From the pain came poetry, from silence came strength, and from the ashes of a dark century came the flicker of a brighter dawn. Tonight, as you rest your head and let the quiet embrace you, remember those who made it through, not in triumph, but in tenderness. They remind us that even when history goes dark, the human heart keeps glowing.